and welcome back to Core 4 Adventures. I'm Carol.
And I'm Laura.
And we're two sisters who love to cruise. And today we are going to give you an honest review of Norwegian Cruise Line. Now, before we get started, we want to be honest that we've only cruised on Norwegian Cruise Line. Every time we go to book another cruise, we look at all of the other cruise lines, and then we always land on NCL. Looks like it's the best fit for us for the value that they provide. And so that's why we've always chosen them. So we've gone on 5 NCL cruises. We've got our 6th one coming up in a couple weeks. We've got our 7th booked for next year. So we've got quite a few things to share with you today. But again, we are not sponsored. We are going to be completely honest in what we think.
But before we get started on this, if you like this video, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on so you don't miss any of our content. So let's talk about our first impressions of NCL. From embarkation day on, I felt like it was smooth and seamless. The staff are very friendly and accommodating. They made it really easy to do everything you needed to do. The ships felt clean and bright. Even the older ones felt renewed and like they had had a little refresh in the last few years. They just had a great vibe to them. How about you, Carol?
Yeah, I really had a good first impression of NCL for all of the reasons that Laura explained. In addition to that, our first interactions with NCL weren't with the cruise itself. It was through the cruise consultants when we were booking the cruise. We had a lot of questions as first-time cruisers, and the cruise consultants with NCL really helped us, answered all of our questions, and made us feel comfortable. We don't work with one specific cruise consultant. We typically book through the website, but we will call and get whoever is answering the phone that day to help us out with any special needs that we have. They have been across the board, super helpful, knowledgeable, and help get us what we need. So next, let's talk about our impressions of the cabins on NCL. So as of right now, we have only had balcony cabins on the NCL cruises that we've taken. However, we do have a cruise coming up in a couple weeks where we're going to have inside cabins for the very first time. I'm resisting the urge to try to bid for an upgrade because I really want to do an inside cabin so that I can experience it and share it with you. But overall, my impressions of the cabins are they've always been comfortable. I thought they've been pretty spacious. They've had everything that we've needed. What about you, Laura?
I agree. They've had everything that we needed. I'm a little anxious about going into that inside cabin too, but lots of people have said that they're plenty big enough for what you need in a cruise cabin. And keep in mind, you're not going to spend that much time in your cruise cabin. And on NCL, there's lots of great areas outside of your cruise cabin that you can go and relax, like the observation decks on certain ships and the waterfront on almost all of the ships.
Yeah, that's a way for you to get that outdoor lower deck experience that you kind of get a balcony vibe from it without having to have a balcony room. One thing I will say about the cruise cabins that I give high marks to NCL is the bathrooms. I'm kind of picky when it comes to the bathrooms, and I have no issues with the bathrooms on NCL. I like the fact that it's not a shower curtain. It is a shower door, and that is very important to me. I've had no problem finding space to put all of my stuff in the bathroom. Easy to get ready. I give it high marks.
I think as long as there's only 2 people in your cruise cabin, the space is more than adequate. Now, I don't know if I brought a 3rd or 4th person, if there'd be quite as much space for all of your belongings in the shelves and the closets, but there's plenty of room for a couple or for 2 people traveling together.
Yeah, I agree, because we've traveled just the 2 of us together. I've traveled with my husband, and it's been plenty of space for hang-up clothes in the closet. Here's a tip: if you do need more hangers, you can just ask your room steward and they will bring some by. But we found that the storage has been pretty good.
Yeah, I was a little concerned when it was going to be 2 girls together because, you know, guys usually bring a little less stuff. But we had so much room on those bathroom shelves that we didn't use hardly all of it at all. Now, let's talk about the dining on NCL. We have a lot to say about the dining. First of all, it looks like they have a great buffet, but buffets aren't really for us, so we haven't actually tried the buffet.
If you are a buffet person, though, we've walked through it several times, and it looks like it's got a lot of variety. It looks like they do a good job of keeping it up throughout the day. So I've heard good things about it. But we typically stick to either the main dining rooms or the specialty dining.
We really like a sit-down experience for our meals. I'm not a buffet person, but there's also lots of seating in those buffets, I've noticed. So even when it is crowded, I think you're going to be able to get a seat in those buffets. Now, for regular dining, they have several main dining rooms on all of the ships, and we have never had a bad experience in a main dining room yet.
Yeah, I think that the food that is included in your cruise fare is really pretty good. I mean, it's cruise food, so it's not going to be like 5-star dining, not compared to our cruise on AMA waterways, but it is really pretty good for cruise food. I mean, you can expect to get some burgers, pasta dishes. I've had something that's kind of like a shepherd's pie. The desserts are phenomenal,
So
even in the main dining room. So there's variety. If you want to just go off of the main dining room, you can get some good variety. You're not going to be eating the same thing day after day after day.
Now, those main dining rooms are only going to have a limited number of hours that they're open, but if you're going outside the regular dining hours, there's always an option for you there too. Either Oceans or the local, the name varies from ship to ship, will be on every ship on the fleet. And that is 24-hour dining. So you can get burgers and fries, chicken wings, one of our favorites, the spinach artichoke dip. We have that several times every cruise. Fish and chips, lots of good options that you can get all day in Oceans or the local. And I think the food there is really good too.
And it's something to note, if you are going to be going to the main dining rooms, the menu is going to be the same whether you go to Savor, Taste, or the Manhattan room. The same menu is going to be served in all 3 locations. So oftentimes we'll go to Savor, Taste because it's quicker to get a table. But it's nice sometimes to go to the Manhattan room because oftentimes, especially for dinner, they will have some entertainment playing in the dining room for you as well.
I think Manhattan room, or I think they call it Hudson's on a couple of the ships now.
Oh, the newer ones for sure.
It feels a little more like a main dining room on a ship, whereas Savor and Taste feel a little more secluded, and I feel like we have a little less number of people in those locations.
Yeah, and we have not sailed on like the Viva, the Prima, or the Aqua yet that has the Indulge dining hall. I can't wait to try that because I have a feeling it's going to give off the same vibe as Food Republic, where you're ordering off of a tablet and they bring it to your table. If you have had the Indulge food hall on one of the 3 new NCL ships, drop a comment in the box below and tell us how you liked it.
But, of course, we haven't even hit on specialty dining. Now, everybody's going to get at least one specialty dining with their More at Sea package if you opt for that. So take advantage of it. Go to these nice restaurants. They really make it feel special for dinner. Right,
yeah,
Carol?
I agree. I love the specialty dining on NCL. It's one of the things that attracts us to this cruise line so that we can go out and have something that feels like a really special dinner. The ones that we seem to go back to time and time and time again are Cagney's, the steakhouse. We always try to hit Le Bistro, the French restaurant, and La Cucina is a favorite of ours with the Italian food. But we've tried many others. I just mentioned Food Republic. We've gone to the Churrascaria. What was that one called? With the Moderna with the Brazilian steakhouse. Pepper and I have gone to the Mexican restaurant. And so there's been a lot of variety.
Most of the ships have a teppanyaki grill if you like that. They have lots of great choices. There's usually a seafood restaurant as well. So there's something for everyone in the specialty dining.
And I will say, I'm being honest about this. The one miss I will say is the seafood restaurant. We've eaten at Ocean Blue and had not a great experience with it. But we always have had a great experience with Cagney's and Le Bistro. Those are the best 2 by far.
Le Bistro is hands down my favorite. Even though it's the French restaurant, I always get the filet, and I love that dessert.
Yeah, the desserts in the specialty dining restaurants are over the top. It is, again, one of the reasons why we continue to cruise with NCL is the food at the specialty dining restaurants. And don't forget that even if you're in an inside cabin and you only get 1 specialty dining credit for your 7-day cruise, you can buy extra visits to the specialty dining restaurants. It's a flat rate fee. It can be anything from $40 to $60, and you just pay that cover charge and you go in like you have an extra dining credit.
Right, and you don't have to purchase that ahead of time. If you just make reservations and don't have a dining credit left, they will just bill you for that on your cruise card.
Yeah, our upcoming cruise, we're in the inside cabins. We only get 1 specialty dining credit, but we've got reservations for 3. So next up, let's talk about the entertainment and activities on NCL. I personally have always had a great time when I'm cruising with NCL. There's always a variety of things to do, so you can find something that interests you. Let's start up on the top decks of the ships. You've got some really great and unique things that happen with the NCL ships, whether it's like a ropes course. I did that one in Barcelona. That was a brave moment for me. They've got go-karts. They've typically got a sport court. Of course, there's pools and water slides, mini golf. There's really a lot of activities that take place outdoors.
And if you're not an outdoor person, there's always a game room where you can play different video games. And a lot of them will have a VR game room where you can play virtual reality games, as well as game sections on all of the Oceans and locals where you can play pool and darts, and there's other video games there as well.
We always try to take advantage of that. So talking about those indoor activities, they often have trivia in the atrium. They may do deal or no deal, sometimes the newlywed game, a lot of great activities that you can take part in there. And don't forget about bingo, the casino, if you like to gamble, some really great daytime activities as well.
Now the bingo and casino are obviously an extra charge, but you know what's not an extra charge? They have comedians several nights every time on the ship. They'll have one comedian that's set for younger audiences, and if you're someone who likes a little more spicy comedian, they'll usually have one of those every time in a 10 o'clock show as well.
You know, some other activities that they have on board that do come at an extra charge, but we've enjoyed them in the past, are the wine tasting activities. We've done the wine tasting and cheese pairing. We've done the black glass wine tasting. And on our last cruise, we did the Sky Vodka Ice Bar. That was an extra charge, but it's something I will remember forever. It was super, super cool.
And if your ship has a whiskey bar, they do whiskey flights as well that you can do. So we've never done that, but a whiskey tasting sounds like something we might have to do in the future.
Yeah, maybe on our next cruise, because we're going to be on the NCL Bliss. They have a whiskey bar.
Now, we've talked about all of these things, but the thing we haven't talked about yet are the shows at night.
Yeah.
Those are something spectacular, not to be missed.
Of course, you're going to have the big stage shows. We've been so lucky to get to see Choir of Man several times, been brought up on stage, both of us on Choir of Man. That's been so much fun. We've done the Bring Back the 90s show. And again, we're going to be on the NCL Bliss, so we're looking forward to Jersey Boys. That's going to be a great one for us. They're Broadway quality shows. They've blown us away every single time. We really get into it and have a good time. And sometimes we'll go back and see it more than once.
Right. I mean, if you're not doing anything else that night and it's showing and there's plenty of room, go see it a second time. When else are you going to have an opportunity to see a Broadway level show at no extra charge?
So in addition to that, there's often music in other areas. So you'll either have like at Sid Norman's or the Cavern Club. NCL's become famous for redoing the entire Fleetwood Mac Rumours album or having the Beatles tribute going on. And one of the things that we absolutely love music-wise is the dueling pianos, Howl at the Moon.
Yes, that's definitely our speed for late night. Make sure to bring some money for tips. If you tip them and put a song in their jar, they're going to play your song, and it's so much fun.
So much fun. We've ended almost every night there because it's just our speed. And don't forget about some of the big parties that they host throughout the week. You've got like the Glow Party. You're going to have an 80s party. There's parties that take place at Spice H2O or up on those top decks where the cruise staff really bring the fun. You're going to have DJs, dancing, drinks, lots of fun activities that are going on. I've seen them do limbo. They've given out like glow sticks. They really go above and beyond to make those parties a fun time.
And when that party's over, if you want an after party, we always end up at Howl at the Moon. But if that's not your speed and you want to keep the energy up, there's definitely parties like that around the ship as well.
Like DJs at like by the casino bar and even piano players like in the atrium or the mojito bar. That's always been pretty cool to check out.
Up next, let's discuss the service and the staff on board. Because let's face it, the staff are going to make your trip. Like we said earlier, The cruise director that we had on the Escape has been hands down our favorite. He really brings the energy, and you can feel it with him and all of his staff. But we've had great staff in every part of the ship. From the specialty dining restaurants to the main dining room to our cabin stewards, everybody has been fantastic.
Fun bartenders.
Fun bartenders.
They can really make your cruise.
They really can. They get into it and have a great time. And again, if you just give them a little tip on that first day, they will remember you and make sure you are well taken care of. Now, I will say that it has felt like over the years, the staffing has gotten a little tighter and they don't have quite as many staff on board. So it does feel like they're stretched just a little bit thin.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that if we're being honest, that's one thing that NCL could look at is that when we first started cruising with them, there were more staff to take care of you. And now they do feel like they've cut back on staffing. So it takes a little bit longer to get things, or there's not as many servers. It takes longer in the restaurants as well.
But the staff you do get have always been friendly and nice. I've never had a bad experience with a staff member.
I completely agree. They really can make your cruise. So now let's give you our honest thoughts about the value for our money on NCL. Overall, every time we do a cost comparison with other cruise lines, NCL comes out on top because we're looking at the entire package. Number one, we're always going to get the drink package. So the NCL More at Sea really brings a lot of value to the table for us compared to other cruise lines.
It really does. On other cruise lines, the drink package can be $1,000 or more, and you're just paying the gratuities on the drink package on NCL with their More at Sea. So it's only a few $100s, and it really makes a difference in the cost of our cruise fare.
Another thing that we are really interested in that we think we get a lot of value for on NCL is the specialty dining packages. Again, the More at Sea, if you are staying in a balcony cabin for a 7-day cruise, you get 3 visits to specialty dining restaurants, and you're only paying the tip on the gratuity on that. So that brings a lot of value to our plate for sure.
I think so too. Having all that entertainment definitely feels like a good value as well. And let's talk about their excursions for just a moment. Yeah. You know, with the More at Sea, you get a $50 cruise credit for the first member in your cabin on any excursion that you book, and that's not per port, that's per excursion. So if you wanted to do 2 excursions for the same port, you're going to get $50 off one person's on each of those excursions.
I will say that in general, though, excursions booked through the cruise line versus through a third party like Viator or shore excursion groups, they're typically more expensive, so you have to watch out for that. Sometimes we book through the cruise line because we're uncomfortable in a new area and we want to make sure that we've got that return guarantee that the ship is not going to leave without us. But we did a lot of excursions on our own through the Mediterranean just for cost-cutting measures. Looking at Alaska coming up in 2026, I am looking at different excursions booked through Viator, Get Your Guide, or shore excursion groups just for financial reasons as well.
And a lot of those through the third parties will offer that same guarantee. So look for that because it might be a great way to save some money on your cruise.
So some of the other things that we think are valuable in our NCL expenses is we've oftentimes gotten the week-long pass to the thermal suite. That is pretty pricey. For us, it's been totally worth it, but we don't get it on every single cruise because sometimes it can be cost prohibitive. On our next cruise, I think we're looking at trying to get a day pass, and so we'll let you know how that goes.
Right. One thing about that thermal suite pass, because it is so expensive, we always end up spending the vast majority of our cruise in the thermal suite, making sure we're getting our money's worth, and maybe don't take advantage of all the other parts of the ship. So I'm looking very forward to being able to see all the other parts of the ship this time.
Yeah, I completely agree with Laura. When we do get the thermal suite pass, we spend a majority of our time in the thermal suite. So when we don't, we're exploring the rest of the ship, maybe sitting out on deck 8, going up to the pool deck, etc., as opposed to spending the entire week in the thermal suite.
And you can't forget that observation lounge. We're going on the Bliss, and it's one of the ships that has those fabulous observation lounges, and I can't wait to spend some time in there.
So overall, value for the money, again, I'm a spreadsheet girl. Every time I look and I cross compare with Holland America or Princess or Virgin Voyages, I'm really dying to go on a Virgin Voyages cruise. The money, it all comes down to the money, and NCL seems to be the better value for us.
Right. And with the freestyle dining and the way that everything is so relaxed on NCL, I really like that too. It's just got the right vibe for us and our vacation. So let's talk about our closing thoughts. We definitely think that NCL is right for most people. I think that if you are looking for something a little more luxurious and a little quieter, maybe NCL isn't the right cruise for you.
Unless you get a Haven suite where you're in the ship within a ship.
That's exactly where I was going to go with that, Carol. There's always the Haven, which definitely feels luxurious and private. So if you're looking for that, they've got that too.
But for us, NCL seems to fit. We've enjoyed it every single time we've gone on it. We've got 2 more cruises booked and maybe a 3rd one in 2026. I don't know. But we really do enjoy it, and we're going to keep cruising NCL. One day we will stretch out and find another cruise line, I promise you.
I think NCL is also great for people with families, especially when they offer the specials with the 3rd and 4th person in the room, and they have actual areas up on the main deck that's for kids alone with little water splash pads and areas like that. The water slides, all of the virtual reality games
and the kids
video
club.
Games. They have kids clubs.
Yeah.
They have a lot of things for families as well.
And next summer when we go to Alaska, we're bringing our mother along. Now, she is obviously older than us. She's our mom. And so she's going to have a different viewpoint. And so we can't wait to hear what it's like from her perspective to cruise on NCL. We'll share that with you for sure.
So what do you think about what we've had to say about NCL? We'd love to hear that in the comments section below. Or if you have advice for other people, we'd love to hear that as well.
And if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And of course, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss anything. We post here every single Sunday. Thanks so much for watching. We will catch you next time on Core 4 Adventures. Bye!